Some authors tightly control their characters, requiring them to follow an outline. But other authors say that there are things their characters won't do. What do authors do when their characters go off script? Do you try to regain control and how? Or go where the characters take you? Welcome back to Morgan's Writing Tips and Writerly Musings with writing tips from the pros and, of course, my own Writerly Musings. I'm your host, Morgan Hazelwood. Today, I'm here with out of control characters. Dun dun dun. I am continuing with my Balticon 2023 panel write ups. The panelists for the titular panel were as follows: A.L. Kaplan, Ellen Smale, and Scott Edelman. The panel was moderated by Michelle D. Sonnier. So let's talk about how do characters get off track? Well, the type of writer you are influences the ways your characters can get off track. Pantsers are writers who write by the seat of their pants, discovering the characters and the plot as they go. Planners are the flip side. They know exactly where they're going and how they're going to get there. And planters are in between. They have a direction to go in, but know that things are probably going to change along the way. So, for heavy planners, characters are often just like puppets and they go where they're told. For other planners and plantsers, they write the characters and get to know them better. And as they get to know them better, these writers realize that the original intent won't work for this character and they have to adjust. So, how do they do that? Well, some just see where the story goes, while others will pause to re outline before moving forward. Another option, well, some characters just yell at the author, demanding more scenes and more page time. Uh, Sometimes the scene fights the author and they just can't get it to work, often when the scene is wrong for the character and needs to be rethought. For pantsers, though, there's no track for the characters to get off of. So, do you follow the characters or should you reel them in? If your story's becoming more character driven, now is the time to decide. Do you follow this notion or back up and make the story go the way you originally intended? Well, if the story fights when you don't go where it leads, it might be best to see where it takes you. Another option is to think it through. Will this change make for a better story with more well rounded characters? If so, go with it. Try it out. If it doesn't work, make it a deleted scene. Maybe your notion is a great side quest that would make a great short story, and you could sell that on the side. And sometimes the rails shift, but you never fully leave them, letting better character motivations and more fleshed out characters pull the story along. It's good for everyone, the writer and the readers. Now, pantsers always follow the character or the plot and see what's unfolds. Uh, and for many pantsers, looking too far ahead will spoil the joy of writing. So let's talk about some examples of these characters with agency. Because typically it's not that the characters are out of control, it's that you, as a writer, better understand the nuances of the character and understand the choices they would make. So, this effectively is just giving the characters agency, and it's usually a good thing. So, for our panelist, A.L. Kaplan had a story with two secondary characters that ended up falling in love, and that helped her demonstrate a fair amount of world building for her story. For Alan Smale, he had multiple characters that he thought were going to band together and accomplish a singular goal. One problem: they all had very different ideas about how to go about it, and so they often ended up working at cross purposes, leading to a more complex storyline with better rounded characters. For Scott Edelman, he tried writing a short story for quote unquote glorifying terrorism. It was an anthology in protest of a UK ban of works of that themes, which could be expanded to include Shakespeare stories such as Macbeth. Um, but instead of glorifying terrorism, his characters found a better way to get rid of the alien destroyers. For Michelle Sonnier, she was writing a Regency era tale of seven sisters, one of which had no interest in debuting in society, and Michelle realized the character was asexual. Two books later, that comes into play when the asexual sister is struggling with, quote, losing her sister and friend to marriage. And it helped better clarify the motivations of the characters even books later. It all goes to make one wonder, are the characters out of control, or is this some manifestation of the writer's own subconscious desires or fears? So, what are some of these ways we could get to know our characters better? Well, step one, do your research. Understand what their job entails, their background, their hometown, etc. Next, find experts. Ask your social media friends, network online or in person. Ask librarians or professors, or check out YouTube. Mary Robinette Cowell has an Interviewing Experts playlist. Note, if you do reach out to experts, make sure you have specific questions prepared and not asking for information you can find in 10 minutes on Wikipedia or 10 minutes with the textbook. Another way to get to know your characters is to let them percolate in the back of your head for a bit. Or try writing 100 random facts about the character or filling out questionnaires as in your character's voice. Now, none of those tidbits need to be in the story. It's just so you, as the writer, can get to know the characters better. And finally, find some aspect you can connect with. Even if they're the cruelest villain, maybe you share a hope or a fear. If you're a writer, have you ever struggled with characters not going the way you expected or intended them to go? How did it turn out? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching and tuning in again next week for more writing tips and writerly musings. Bye bye.